Finally today, after talking nonstop about Republicans, let's talk about Democrats, right? They also still exist. They may not be in the majority anywhere anymore, but Democrats do still exist. They do still hold a little bit of power. The problem is in the Democratic Party today, they got no leaders, okay? We got a couple people every now and then that'll come out and say something profound or meaningful, but no real single leader. You know, it's definitely not Chuck Schumer. It's definitely not Nancy Pelosi. It's definitely not Ken Martin, who just won the chairmanship of the DNC. So who is the leader right now? Well, if you ask me, based on the things they have been doing and the things they have been saying, the person who needs to be the leader of the Democratic Party right now is none other than Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. And I'm going to point to two specific things that AOC has said within the last week alone that show that she understands what is happening in this country, I think, just as well or better than any other Democrat in office today. Because it's not about performative issues, okay? It's not about holding a press conference and saying, we're mad at these people. Oh, we don't like it. That's great. That's great. It accomplishes nothing, but if it makes you feel better, Democratic leaders, go ahead and do it. In terms of changing or fixing anything, that does absolutely nothing, and I don't care for it. AOC, on the other hand, got on social media, did a video. Not a fancy video, didn't have reporters all around her. She just had her phone and herself. And here is what she told American citizens. I want you all to understand that if you are watching the news right now and you are feeling overwhelmed by all the constant headlines and developments and what's happening, first of all, know that you are not alone. And second of all, know that that is exactly what this administration is trying to get you to feel. What authoritarian regimes try to do is they often try to do what is known as flood the zone. It's important for you to understand that the paralysis and shock that you feel right now is the point. They are trying to induce a state of passivity among the general public. We need to try. I don't want to hear, oh, we can't do that. That's impossible. That's called consenting in advance. So when your mind says it's all over, we might as well. No. Do not be discouraged by temporary defeats. We keep going anyway. When we are relentless, they will fatigue. They can only hold this up for so long. I think that is a powerful message, and I think it's a message that the Democratic Party needs to deliver to the public at large. Because she's absolutely right about the flooding the zone thing. I mean, Stephen Miller, one of Donald Trump's top aides in the White House, literally said before they came into office, that's what they were going to do. Steve Bannon, back in the first Trump administration, came out publicly and said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to drive you crazy, send you into this fatigue by giving you so much insanity at once, you can't focus on anything. And I think for the most part, the main Democratic Party has already fallen into that trap. 8 days after Donald Trump issued his pardon for the Capitol rioters. 8 days later, because a lot of crazy crap happened in between that, but 8 days later, what did the Democrats do? They called reporters and they held a press conference to talk about how they were unhappy about the pardons of the Capitol rioters. 8 days later. Everybody else had kind of already been like, well, this sucks, but we know we can't change it. We've moved on. Trump went on and did his midnight massacre of the inspectors generals, all these executive orders, the mass deportations had started. So there were already like a dozen bigger outrages since then. And then Democrats were like, all right, let's go to our podium and if I can stand here for 5 minutes and talk, that'd be great. No. AOC gets it. I don't think the rest of the party does. But if you're not sold on her being the leader, then let me give you this. Last Sunday, she went on a podcast, Latino USA. She went on a podcast to talk about Donald Trump's mass deportations, as well as what that is going to do to consumer prices here in the United States. And she said one line that absolutely made me realize that she gets it in a way that most people do not. She said, first of all, for all the people who cast a vote based on grocery prices and inflation, if you think your groceries are expensive now, wait until the farms are empty. And then she said this, but let's be clear. The people who are voting in this way oftentimes don't respond to a case of compassion and humanity. That's the line. And she goes on and she says, if you want to be hard-nosed about it, understand that America's immigration force and our community of immigrants, including especially the millions of undocumented people in this country, are why America has prospered. If you think houses are expensive now, wait until there's no one building them. If you think that having someone in your home take care of your ailing mother or grandmother while you have to go out and earn an honest living while you're at work, if you think that's expensive now, wait until that immigrant workforce is gone. So she's saying, understand the consequences of what this means. But she's talking in different terms. We all understand. You are watching this program today because I'm assuming you understand the humanity and compassion side of it. Okay? Just like you understand the humanity and compassion of foreign affairs, whatever they may be. You understand the disaster side of climate change and what that means for humanity. But I've been saying this for years. In fact, several years ago, doing a fill-in right here for David, I talked about this. There are some issues that, even though there is mostly a humanitarian side to them, you can't talk about them in those terms because most people are not moved by them. And specifically at the time, I was referring to climate change. So what I said then, which is exactly what AOC is doing here, is, okay, you don't want to hear the humanitarian side of it. You don't want to hear the, environmental side of it. What if I break it down and talk to you about these issues in economic terms? And that's what she's doing. Because she does understand that, listen, most people don't want to see these immigrants and migrants be tortured or be arrested and have horrible things happen to them. Most people don't want to see that at all. But at the end of the day, they don't experience it. What they do experience is the financial hardship that comes from those people getting kicked out. So appealing to somebody's humanity can only go so far, because when it's not affecting them directly, it is very easy to just push it out of your head. Like, God, that sucks. Man, I hate seeing this on the news, so buy news. Whew, okay, well, that's gone. Now, you may think that's flippant, but that is the way that the majority of people in this country, think. Once it's off the television or once they've scrolled past that video, whatever hurt they felt is gone, or it will be gone in the next 5 minutes. So you have to change the way you address the topics. You have to come at these things in a unique approach to actually get people to care about it, because the humanitarian side, I'm sorry, it's just not going to sell. And AOC understood that when she did this podcast, and that's what she's talking about. If you don't want to talk about how horrible it is that we're treating these people like vermin, then what if I broke it down and I made it relate to you economically and how it's going to personally impact your life? Then you're going to think about it even longer. Okay? It's not going to be gone once you scroll past that video. It's still going to exist. And that is how you change minds. That is how you change voting habits. And that is how you get people to care about issues that they can otherwise push right out of their heads. That is why I think she is the leader that the Democratic Party desperately needs right now. That's all the time we have for today. I will be back tomorrow. And in the meantime, again, I encourage everybody, please go subscribe to my YouTube channels, youtube.com/fairandbalanced, youtube.com/theringofire. I'm at Fair and Balanced across all of social media. And we've got a wonderful bonus show coming up today for the members, so stick around for that if you are a member. Otherwise, hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.
Many of us have struggled with sleep at one point or another. A sleep aid many turn to is melatonin because it's a non-pharmaceutical remedy clinically proven to work without the side effects you might get with antihistamines or prescription meds. My favorite way to take melatonin is with the Dream Hot Cocoa Powder from our sponsor, Beam. It works. When you mix Dream Powder into hot water or milk for a delicious mug of cocoa, half an hour later, blissfully sleeping. No sugar added, it's naturally sweetened, and it comes in delicious flavors. My favorite is cinnamon cocoa, but vanilla chai is great too. You can get better sleep with melatonin, proven to help you fall asleep and stay asleep longer. Feeling rested makes the next day so much better. Keep Dream Powder nearby to soothe you to sleep when you need it. Get 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman. The link is in the description.